we are live yet again. It is Prime Day. Don't forget about Prime Day. And we're going to do something fun here. Let me get my stream going. Because I wanted to, some things that I didn't cover in my review of the Fire Stick that I thought I might cover today. Because I don't think these are on sale on Prime Day. But these are... these are very inexpensive, so I thought we would do a little bit with this and figure out a couple things. So bear with me here. I'm just getting a little bit set up here. There we go. Our thing is working. So it looks like GotWire is here already. And I just want to check and see if my link is working, just to make sure that that's working. And do me a favor, if you're watching on YouTube, click on the link, and that will take you over to my Amazon page and follow me there if you don't mind. I'm looking to build up my follower base on there. David's Devices is joining us on Amazon. Welcome. And I do believe you get a notification on Amazon when I go live, and sometimes those work better. Now, I used to say that the video quality was better on Amazon, but now that my connection problems have been figured out, I think we're actually good on both. All right, so what we're going to do today is play around a little bit with the Fire TV. This is the new one, the Fire TV stick. And this is the 1080p version. And everything I'm going to do here is going to work also with the 4K version. And the things that we're doing with the regular stick today apply only to the new stick and the stick Lite. But last year's 1080p stick is not going to do anything with this. Now what we're doing is we're playing around with this port here. As you can see, there's a USB port on there. And that is usually where you plug power into. But if you get one of these little Y cables, you can do more than just put power in. And this is not USB-C. I'm guessing at some point they'll have a USB-C plug on here, and this will get easier. But what we're going to play around with today, and I've got a plan B if this doesn't work, is we're going to attach this cable. And what this is going to do is route power into that port. But in addition to that, we're also going to get a USB port here, a USB-A port. And we're going to plug this hub in that I bought a while ago. And this hub has Ethernet on it and then 3 Ethernet ports. So we're going to attach, it's all a long story here, we're going to attach this hard drive to this and get external storage for our Fire TV stick and add some value to it. And again, this will work on the regular Fire TV. As Next Level Tech points out, it will also appear, and I haven't tested this, but I believe them, this also will work on the Cube 2 and the 4K stick as well. So that's what we've got. And this is this is like regular micro USB. And I've only got, by the way, about an hour. So we're going to get as much as we can get in an hour here, and I'm going to record some B-roll for an upcoming video that I'm doing. Because I did not cover this in the review, because I wanted to kind of separate the advanced topics from the non-advanced topics. So we'll go from there. Yeah, this is USB 2.0. So this is a USB 3 adapter. So normally this would be gigabit, but it's going to be running 200 or 300 megabits. That's fine, because we're just trying to get a better, more reliable connection. Now on my desk today, I have my display. I may have to turn my camera brightness up here in a second. This is my video capture device that I'm using today. This is the NewTek Connect Spark. This is what's called an NDI box, and it's going to deliver HDMI from the Fire Stick over my network to vMix, which is what I use for streaming, and we'll be able to also loop out to the monitor here so I can point at things, yet still capture. So what I'm going to do is plug in, and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing here. So I'm going to plug in the Y cable into here. Okay, so now we've got the power connector connected, and then there's another micro USB here. And so what I'm going to do is take the power that I would normally apply directly to this port, and I'm going to plug it in here. And then what I'm going to do is plug the Fire Stick here. We're going to plug this into my video capture device, and hopefully it will boot right up. We'll see. And it's good that that screen turned black already, because that indicates to me that there's a signal. Yep, so there we go. So we got power. Let me zoom my camera out a little bit, because I can't fit everything under the view of the camera here. So we have power. And next thing that we're going to do, let me find my USB cable. Okay, so that works. So now we're going to plug in the USB adapter, and we're going to attach that to the USB plug on this Y cable. I'm going to try to get this to fit here. It's just hard to, so here you go. So we're now going to attach this up. And I think I just disconnected something because this went out. There it goes. Oh, it rebooted. I think there might have been a power draw on there. Let's see. So now everything's connected. I wonder if that cable has some weird thing that happens when you do that. Okay, so we've got that connected. And we'll let it boot up. So far, so good. And actually, it looks like my network is functional here because we have blinking lights. And that means there's some network activity going on. So we will see what we get there. Now, I got some comments coming in. William Wilkinson is wondering, is this an Anchor hub? And no, this is, if you go on my Amazon link, I've got it in the list of things that I'm looking at. This is the Ugreen USB 3.0 hub with Ethernet. So we've got Ethernet and then three ports on there. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is validate or verify whether or not we have the network functioning on this beyond the Wi-Fi. And what I'm going to do also is just pull in the NDI box here so you can see a direct capture. Okay, so I'm going to grab my remote, and we're going to go over to, is this the right remote? This may not be the right remote. I've got remotes all over the place, and for whatever reason, this is not the right remote. It should be, though. I think this is the right. Yeah, this is it. Hit the power button on it. Maybe it's, or there's another, actually, no, this might be the wrong one. Hang on a second, folks. There's another remote somewhere on the floor. Because this remote goes with my 4K stick. Hang on, everybody's, give me 1 second. I just got to find the other remote, wherever that may have gone. Oh, there it is. Okay, this is just like my room upstairs. I never know where anything is. Okay. So we're going to go to Settings, and we're going to go to Network. And let's see if we've got Ethernet. Yep, wired. Perfect. Yep, we're connected to Ethernet, connected to the internet, no connection issues. So that is good. And we didn't have to do drivers or anything else like that. We just had to plug it into the little OTG Y cable here, and we're good. It's all working. Now, we're going to push our luck here, but the next thing I want to do is connect up a hard drive. And I've got my T7 here. Now, this drive is formatted exFAT. And this is where you got to be careful, because we are essentially sharing power between the Fire TV stick and the hub. Now, what I am using right now is a higher powered tablet charger. So the Fire TV stick comes with a 1 amp charger, 5 volts, 1 amp. You might want to look at a 2 or 3 amp charger to make this work better, because the hard drive is going to draw some power. This will probably draw less power than a mechanical drive, but it will draw power. And this hub is not powered. So one thing you might want to consider would be perhaps a hub that is powered, so that you're not sharing the power. But let's see what happens when I plug this in. All right, so we haven't lost anything yet. The blue light came on the drive. And now, if we go back to Settings, let's see if it finds it. And I'm not sure where the external storage will appear here. Let me go back for a second. I'm just looking to see where the, let's see if it'll go into applications here. Okay, so, oops. So it's not detecting the storage, but that could be because this drive is formatted for exFAT, and that might not be detectable by the Fire TV OS. And I run into this every once in a while. This is a drive formatting issue. So what I'm going to do real quick here is plug this into my Mac and maybe reformat this as exFAT. So let me just do that real quick, and we'll give that a shot. So yeah, I got some folks popping in. Yeah, so Mark Smith says it's time to get a Dymo labeler to label all the remotes. Absolutely, for sure. William Wilkinson, yeah, so the new deal now with Amazon, because Amazon and Apple made a deal together, so now you can get Apple TV to work on the Fire TV devices. Okay, here's something interesting. This cable may be at fault because this is not showing up on my Mac either. And this should mount itself on the Mac. So let me try a different cable. There's always something. So let me get another cable. And this is where we run into what I was talking about the other day in regards to USB-C cables. Because they all look the same, but not all of them perform the same. So we need a USB-C to USB-A connector. And I've got them kicking around here. And I just got to find the right one. Bear with me for 1 second. I'm going to grab another cable. And see, this is my other one. Here's a, I'm just going to use this one. Let's try this one out real quick and see if this works better. And normally I would look for a USB 3 capable cable, but on this particular scenario here, the Fire TV stick only has USB 2. So we're not going to get USB 3 speeds anyhow out of this thing, even though it is a drive that's capable of that. So let's try this out and see what happens. And see if we get anything now. All right, so we'll plug that back in. And I'm looking here. Okay, here we go. Unable to read. Okay, so this is improvement. So at least the cable is working. Now it's telling me that your USB device is using an unsupported file system. Amazon Fire TV Stick can format the USB device to one of the two file systems. Note that content on your USB device will be erased. So you know what I'm going to do? I am going to just verify there's nothing on this drive that's important to me. And it looks like this is similar to what you would see on regular Android TV. And you have an option between external storage and device storage. So typically, and I'll explain this now, if you select device storage, this basically creates a scenario where your internal storage gets expanded to the external drive. And the storage is encrypted for the Fire TV. Oops, did I just do that? Yeah. I think my cable's a little loose. The storage gets encrypted to the Fire TV. So that means if I were to take this drive and plug it into something else, I wouldn't be able to read any of the files because it's totally encrypted. So what you have to be careful of here is ensuring that if you're doing anything mission critical with your Fire TV, that you have good backups. Because if the Fire TV goes, you lose what's on the drive because it's encrypted for that device only. Now what I'm going to do real quick is just format this for FAT32 because the Fire TV doesn't seem to support exFAT. And I'm going to have it use it as external storage because I want to see what we can do without going through that process. I want to see if we can move apps off. And some of you may already know the answer to this, but I'm curious. So that is what we're going to do first. Yeah, it looks like I just have a bunch of test files on here, so I can totally wipe this out. So I'm just going to format this for Actually, you know what I'll do? I'm gonna have the Fire TV do the format. Why not? Let's do that. Okay, so I'm satisfied that there's nothing important on here, so that was what I wanted to check. So we're gonna do that real quick and plug it in. Okay, so here we go. So we're gonna do, first though, we're gonna try it, we're gonna have it do the external storage. And then we'll see what we can do with the more flexible option. I think, though, we're not going to be able to move our apps over. And so now it's formatting the drive. But isn't this cool? Like, we're on this very, this $30, I can't show it to you because it's like off camera, but this $30 Fire TV stick, we can do more than what you think you can do with it, right? So now we should see, let's go back to applications again. I'm not sure what's going on here now. Oh. Okay, Fire TV cannot access apps on this USB device. Learn more. Okay, so let's find out what it says. And now it's saying your USB drive is using a file system that is incompatible with Fire TV stick apps. Okay, got it. So if I format this, I think it might, let's see what happens. So right now I could access it with a file manager. So, and here's a question from Russell in regards to this. Right, so when we do this, it would not read it on another Fire device because it's just like Android, it encrypts it for the specific device you're plugging it into. So it will not be portable. And Londog says he did this because of the limited app space. Yeah, so you only have like 8 gigs of storage on the Fire TV stick by default. Okay. It's still formatting. We'll let that finish up there. Okay, so now it's formatted. Okay, so here we go. So if I go down to settings, now we should see just like a single thing here when we go to applications. Let's take a look. Okay, so no, it does recognize it as a distinct space. Okay, so there we go. So you can see we've got 2.8 gigs of space available on the internal drive and then a terabyte on the external. And again, we're doing that through a USB OTG Y cable and a portable SSD. Pretty neat. So there you go. All right. Londog says, for most applications, here, yeah, he's right. You don't need more than a thumb drive for this, but I thought, why not attach a terabyte to our Fire TV stick? That'd be kind of fun. All right, so let's go take a look at our list of applications, and maybe we'll decide to move a few things over. So why don't we take one of the bigger ones here, which is, I've got Shovel Knight here. So this one is 308 megabytes, and let's just move it over. So we'll move to USB storage. And if you've ever done this on Android, this is exactly the same thing. And we'll just move that over. And I think I might want to record this because I forgot to record the B-roll. So we'll do another app and I'll get my B-roll. All right, so it's done. And you can see now it also has a little icon next to it to indicate that it's on external storage. So let's move. I wonder if Apple TV would move over, so we could do that real quick. Oh, that one doesn't let me move it. That's weird. So let me move Shovel Knight. Huh. That's weird because didn't it give me the option? Yeah, there was an option to move it. So I guess maybe not all apps support that. Or unless I missed it. Hang on, let me go back and see. Maybe I must have missed it. Yeah, see, that doesn't have the option here. So I'm guessing not all the apps support that. That one, of course, is like a built-in one. Pluto TV, that one doesn't move. Plex, that one I can move over. All right, so let's do that real quick. So Plex, move to USB storage. Say hello to some folks here. Laz Martinez is here. Mark Smith says it takes as long to defrag. Yeah, it's like defragging a Windows 3 drive. Yeah, those were the good old days. Mr. Foodmoon says so many dongles. Yeah, you do end up getting a lot of stuff on your desk with this, for sure. But it does give you some flexibility. Stacy Lester is here. Hello. Mr. Foodman wants to know, when is the new UI coming out? I am not sure. But Londog makes a good point, because if you have like older sticks lying around, this is a good way to put them to use. And because you're, I would imagine that your Twitter, I'm sorry, somebody's tweeted something at me. I would imagine that your USB sticks might be a little bit slower than the internal memory would be, because you are only limited to about 400 megabits on USB 2 here. But again, with the Y cable, it's pretty neat. It seems to be working pretty nicely. Now, I had a couple of other things that I wanted to try on here. But again, it looks like not every application will support being moved over. So for example, Rainway here, no option to move it. And I'm guessing that might be a developer by developer thing. It's like YouTube, can't move it. Pluto, can't move that either. But we were able to do Plex and Shovel Knight. Now, I wonder what happens when we install a new application. So let's go and find, like there's like a couple of other games we could try. So let's go over to the apps and app bundles. I want to find some games here. Let's see. Highway Car Racing 3D 2020. That looks interesting, right? So if we go into this one, this is a freebie. So we can get this. And it looks like it's, let's see where it copies it to by default. So I don't, oh yeah, the drive is going. So I think it actually is putting it on the external. Oh, okay, so here's something that Lee Homard suggested if I'm a developer. So same thing on the NVIDIA Shield. Developer mode, you have the option to enable all apps to be moved. Okay, so let's try that in a second. All right, so let's go back to the main menu here. And we'll go over to apps. Actually, settings. And we'll go to applications. I just want to see where that recent app got installed. Yeah, so highway car racing went to the external by default. And you know it's because it's got that little icon there. All right, so let's go into the developer settings and become a developer. Is it in here? Everything gets moved around a lot, so I forget where these things are. Developer options. So maybe somebody could, develop mode if you press on about 8 to 9 times. Right, so we have to go to preferences maybe. I'm not sure where they do this. Somebody watching probably knows how to enable developer mode. And I may have already enabled it, I don't know. So I will try to figure this out. Help maybe? Let's see. Nope. My Fire TV? About, there we go. Yeah, sometimes when you do this enough times, it'll enable it, but it doesn't seem to do that there. And there is an update available. All right, we'll let that go and do its thing. All right. And Lon.TV hooked up a USB keyboard. Yeah, I've got one here. We're gonna connect via Bluetooth in a second. But I do have 2 more ports on that hub. So this is an Ethernet hub. So we've got Ethernet here, and then we've got ports here. So I've got the hard drive plugged into the hub, and then we have a Y cable that is giving us power and allowing those USB devices to be used. Not quite as good as USB-C, but it works. It's just not. It's not the ideal configuration in 2020. 2020, you want the USB-C. You have a lot more options there. Okay. UK Vapor enjoys the content. Thank you for stopping in and watching. Yeah, we're just, it's Prime Day, so I figured I would have a little presence on Amazon today, because I simulcast here and on Amazon. But if you're in the UK, obviously these Prime Day deals are not relevant to people in the UK. I don't know if they're doing Prime Day in the UK today at the same time. All right, developer options, install unknown apps, which we have on for downloader. So I'm going to actually get my keyboard going again. So we're going to go back to settings, and we're going to go over to controllers and Bluetooth devices. And we're going to connect 2 things, actually. The first thing we're going to connect is my Xbox controller. And this is one of the newer Xbox controllers. So what you need for compatibility is the Xbox controllers that have Bluetooth on them. And I think the only way you know if it has Bluetooth is the way this portion looks at the top. And I don't have my older Xbox controller around, but the original Xbox controllers that came out when the Xbox One first launched do not work with this, but the other ones will. So I am going to, though, go to other Bluetooth devices, because this is not a Fire TV game controller. Well, let's try it. Let's see if it picks it up. Oh, I guess it does. Okay, so let's add a new game controller. And I have it right now in pairing mode. And it should pick it up. And if it doesn't, we'll add it as another device. Yeah, it could be that this is an X input device, and that's why it's not seeing it. Let me try this again here. I paired up with something. I'm not sure what it connected to. Let's try this again. Yeah, I think I've got to do it in a different spot, because I think it's looking for a direct input controller that's Android compatible. But I want to see if I can get this to work with something else. So let's go to other Bluetooth devices. And let's see if it finds it. It's making me look bad. I thought these were compatible, but I guess not. If not, I've got my 8-bit controller that we can pair up with it. That's very odd. Let's get the keyboard going here at least. So let me go add this again. I may have to repair this because I had paired the keyboard with something else since. We may have to reboot this thing. Yeah, I'm going to do a quick reboot here. I'm going to shut everything down and see if we can get this to... I think I confused it. And before we do that, actually, Lon.TV says go to Settings, down to Device. So I'm guessing, okay, Device. Well, I don't have Device. I have My Fire TV and Developer Options, and all I have is ADB Debugging. And I'm not going to do that. Although maybe if I turn it on, it might give us that. I don't know. Okay. So let's do a quick reboot. I think we can restart it this way. Yeah, restart. Okay. And we'll get this stuff going. So the old turtle says he likes the Fire TV stick, but the NVIDIA Shield, yeah, the NVIDIA Shield is still like the best Android TV device out there. But what I like about this stick is that it's got, like the new one here especially, because you can buy the light version for I think $30. And there's a lot of hidden functionality, which and we're going to make a video about this. So right now I'm just kind of playing around, just trying to figure out what I want to talk about in this video. I'm keeping some notes as I'm putting things together. And what I like about the fact that you can use external storage, that you can hook up Ethernet, that there's more to the product than just the product itself. And you know, they kind of sell this thing as like your entry-level TV streaming box, but there's a little bit more functionality packed in that you can unlock, essentially. So that's what I'm exploring today. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, when I do these little office hours videos, like there's really not a structure planned. I'm just trying to figure out, you know, I'm playing with stuff, and it helps me figure out what I want to cover later. So that's kind of what we're doing now. And I am going to have it forget this K830. So we're going to unpair that. Okay, so it's going to unpair that. And I think what I'm also going to do is have it forget about my two game controllers here. And we're going to start from scratch on the Bluetooth. So we're going to add a new Bluetooth device. I'm going to turn this on and pair it. Now, what's cool about the K830, I've been using this keyboard for a long time. I've probably had this about 4, 5, 6 years now. It's backlit, and it's a great home theater keyboard, and it's got the trackpad integrated. So we use this a lot for a lot of different things. And it will work over the Logitech little dongle that they include, but if you hit the function delete key, it puts it into Bluetooth mode. So right now it's trying to pair up. Oh, so Laz Martinez has the old Shield Pro and wants to swap out the drive. I think you probably have to get if the drive is bad, you're going to have to find an image of the install and then re-image the new drive and install it. And I actually do want to do that at some point with because I have an older Pro also, and I want to swap out that spinning hard drive and put in a SSD. So that's something I might do in the future. That might be another stream that we do at some point. Huh, you know, for some reason, this Bluetooth is just not working anymore. And I wonder if, you know, I don't know if it's related to the fact that we're doing this crazy setup with the Ethernet and everything, but usually this works like right out of the gate. And at the moment, I can't seem to find my dongle for this to plug, because I could just plug the dongle into the keyboard port there and be done with it. But like this is, you know, in its pairing mode. Let me cancel this. Let me turn this off and turn it back on again. It's almost like it's not seeing any Bluetooth devices in front of it. So do that. We'll go to Add Bluetooth Devices, and we'll have it research here. Let's see if it can find it. Yeah. So the Lon.TV's point here, you know, I'm trying to squeeze as much value that we can out of this. Now, what's funny is that everything that's on the desk here costs more than the Fire TV costs, right? So the keyboard, you can get one of these lower end ones. I have one over there, which I might end up plugging in. You can get one for like 25 bucks or so, right? So about the same price as the device itself. It's just funny that, back in the old days, the computer would be the most expensive component. Now the computer is the least expensive component, or at least the equal cost to some of the other devices that you might try to connect to it. I just think it's funny. Yeah, the Bluetooth is just not cooperating right now. Let's try to add the game controller again. And if not, we'll plug in directly, because we can do that. We have 2 ports free. So we'll give this a shot. And what I'll do, though, if this doesn't work, is I'll grab a couple of USB cables and just connect it directly, because we can do that. So it just doesn't seem to be working. So you know what we're going to do? We are going to grab this USB cable here, and we're going to plug it into our hub, because we have a hub. And this shouldn't draw too much power, so I think we'll be okay with that. And let's back out. And I know the Bluetooth is working because we have the, let me get it out of pairing mode here. Take the batteries out of this thing. Just get it completely set back to normal. All right, so let's plug it in. No batteries, just directly attached. Okay, there we go. All right, nothing, but doesn't mean it's not working. So let's go back out. And the way we can test the controller, this is one of those like live streams that just doesn't end, doesn't go well, right? Nothing's going to work. It's going to be a nightmare. And we go load up Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight. The good news is the Ethernet is working, so that part works at least. Shovel Knight. All right. It's making me look bad. Let's do that. Huh. It's not seeing it. It could be that the Fire TV doesn't recognize Xbox controllers. So let's try this one now. So this is my 8BitDo SN30 Plus, and I'm going to switch it into direct input mode first before we do anything. Now this one, of course, has a, just paired up with something. Although I think this paired up with, I don't know what it paired up with. Hang on, let's go back. Yeah, it didn't pair up with this thing, so let's put it into pairing mode here. Now this one will work in X input mode, but will also work in direct input mode. And let's see if this detects it. Yeah, I wonder if because we've got this crazy thing set up that that's creating some issues for, because we did reboot it already. But it's just not detecting anything that's in pairing mode on Bluetooth. And I know I mean, it's not possible that all of these things are not working, so that could be what's going on. Mr. Food Moon says that this is a great controller. Yeah, this controller is awesome because it's so flexible. It just works with everything, and it's very comfortable. And what I like is that it's got a great directional pad. So if you like the Super Nintendo layout, then this controller is great because it gives you kind of the best of retro and modern. It's just so, it's such like a, what's funny is every year when they work on these controllers, they come up with a new one every year. Every year they get a little bit better. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to start from scratch here. We are going to, so you can't like shut this thing down safely either, which is concerning to me. We're going to shut this thing down. Now, granted, we are doing things with this Fire TV stick that it is not designed to do. So that is part of why things are not functioning properly. So I'm going to do something that I don't recommend you often do, but we're going to unplug all this stuff and then plug it back in. Mark Smith is asking a very good question. Would it work better with a powered hub? And you know, it just might. And I do have one here, so I just got to see if I can find the power cable for it, because I do have this powered hub. This is an Amazon powered hub, so I might connect that one up next. And that might give us a better experience here if I could find the power adapter for it. And it's got to be around here somewhere. And it could just be that this hard drive is drawing too much power. But let's try to do the pairing up again and see what happens. And it's one of those things where you might get some weird dynamics here if you do have a power draw issue. So that could be what we're experiencing here. Because again, this device is not designed to be used in the way that we're using it, so it's highly possible that we have stressed it. And maybe the Bluetooth radio is not able to activate. Let's see if it works this way. So I'm going to find that power cord for my powered hub. And let's see if we can get that to cooperate. Yeah, still not seeing that. So I think that Mark here is correct. So we're going to try a powered hub route. And again, I just got to find the power adapter for that hub. All right, sit tight for 1 second, everybody. Talk amongst yourselves. I got to go find my power adapters for powered USB hubs. I know I've got one around here, so let's go find that real quick. Because there's one more thing that I want to try before I run out of time. Okay, here's one that'll work, I think. Oops, I got to find one more cable. But this one should work. This is an old hub, but it will get the job done. Okay, so this thing's a little old, but it is powered. So this is a powered USB hub. And if Mark is correct, and I think he might be, when we reboot this again, we're going to kill power to it. When we reboot this again, we should see a different outcome here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take, let me show you what we're doing here. Okay, so we're going to take the hard drive now and unplug it from this hub. So we're going to try to keep as much. Basically, this is going to be just another device on our hub here. So this is a USB Ethernet adapter. It does have more ports on it, but we're not going to use them because we don't want to strain the power here. So we're going to plug the hard drive into the hub. Now this hub is separately powered. So it's got its own power adapter, which I am going to plug in and unplug something I'm not using. So bear with me for a second here, folks. So we're going to plug this in down here. And so this hub will now come on. And it will be off until this thing boots up and it gets a connection. So now what we're going to do is we are going to connect the hub, this hub, to here. And so now the hard drive is going to be plugged into this, and the Ethernet is essentially into that port. And then we're going to power the Fire TV up this way. And again, this is that power draw issue that I was concerned about before. So let's see what happens now. And the good news is the USB has power, the Ethernet, and it looks like it's back on the network, so it's communicating. The hard drive is lit up. And let's see if we get this going. Yeah, and this is where if you had USB-C, you would have more flexibility. And I would imagine that, because we're starting to see now some of the lower cost Android TV boxes have USB-C on them, so you could do that. But again, I'm looking at like, what can we do to really get more out of the device, right? So that's what we're experimenting with here. All right, so let's verify that the hard drive is actually, let's check the network first. Okay, so I have this loaded twice. We are wired. Perfect. So the Ethernet's working. And if the Ethernet's working, I have a good feeling that our hard drive is also connected. So we'll go to Applications and just validate that we still have external storage. And we do. Perfect. Okay, so that works. So now, why don't we check and see if the Bluetooth will work now. And I'm going to try to do the keyboard here first. So put that back into pairing mode, add Bluetooth device. Oh, look at that, right out of the gate. So that was it. It was definitely a power issue. And that will be a note. I'm going to suggest that people use a powered hub to make this work. So that is something I'm going to add to my notes for this video I'm working on. A powered hub is the way to go. And what's kind of fun about what we just did haphazardly here, because I couldn't find the plug for the hub I was going to use, is that this is an old one. This hub is probably 10 or more years old. It's a USB 2 hub. But you don't need anything more than this because all you're connecting it to is a USB 2.0 port on the Fire TV. So there you go. All right, so we're good there. The keyboard is paired. So now we're going to do the Xbox controller. And we're going to just hit that. And you can see now I can use the keyboard and the mouse will work when there's a mouse device. And now we've got the Xbox controller pairing. Actually, this has to get paired as a game controller. So let's go up one level. Oops. Game controller, add new game controller. Let's see if it picks it up. Still giving us trouble there. How about that? Well, worst comes to worst, we can just connect it via hardware. So where's Elias Saba when you need him? Maybe he'll tune in. So TechFlood has a question here, which I'll take while I am trying to get this game controller to get picked up. And let me pull up your question here. So TechFlood is wondering, he lives in a rural area and just had his internet shut off after going over 1 terabyte several times. The current ISP is my only option. So there's been some comments in the chat here. I think limiting your video streams is a great way to do that, especially because the 1080p stuff will certainly use up a lot more data. I'm not sure what you're transferring. Oh, here it goes. Now it found it. I'm not sure what you're transferring either, so that's part of it. I found with my kids, they watch like they just leave like Netflix and YouTube on constantly. So I don't know if you have kids at home, but that often contributes to it as well. So I would look at that. I would look at your devices, like the photo syncing and all that stuff, like that will use up bandwidth as well. And what's funny is, so I'm in an area where there's no data caps with Comcast, and my new service has no caps on it at all. What was funny, though, was that I didn't realize how little data I actually used until my kids came into the picture and started watching Netflix and YouTube and stuff, because I was only doing like 300 or 400 gigs, if that, a month, even with all the uploading of videos that I do and everything else. And when you think about it, each one of my videos is about 2 gigabytes, give or take. But if I'm uploading 2 or 3 times a week, I'm not using a lot of bandwidth for that component, and I just wasn't using that much data. I was surprised. We're using more now. We're typically around 800 megs to a terabyte a month in data transfers. And I think we'll see a little bit more of that because the one TV that I watch the most, I recently swapped out and put a 4K setup there, so I think we'll see a little bit more usage from that. But again, I don't have, thankfully, any caps. Okay, so now, what do we have? We have a keyboard working. The trackpad would work if we had a mouse-based application. And in fact, we're going to play around with that right now. So there is a great app written by my friend Elias Saba called Downloader. Where did it go? Here it is, called Downloader, right here. And what this will let you do is go out to a website and download applications that, that you might want to install that are not on the Amazon store. So it's called, a process called side loading. And what you want to do before you go and download stuff, and I think you'll get prompted here on the app about this, is you want to go into your settings and go over to your application settings, I think. Is this where we find it? Nope, it's in the, hang on. I'm leading you in the wrong direction. I got to find the right spot again here. Yes, okay. So you want to go into My Fire TV and go to Developer Options, and there's an option here for Install Unknown Apps. And then on an app-by-app basis, you can turn on the ability for the app to install things from unknown sources. So in this case, Downloader. And what I wanted to do today was see if I could get the Microsoft Game Pass to work on here. So what we're going to do, and I've got about 20 minutes, so hopefully we can get it done in this length of time. We're going to go back to Downloader. Whoops. And I set it up on my web server. So I'm going to type in, so I have this already dialed in. But what you could do here is they have a browser built into this. And so you could go up and just go to a website. So it pulls up AFTV News, which is his website. But I could go to APK Mirror or whatever and download an app just with a URL. Or browse to it. But in this case, I know what the URL is. So I'm just going to go, I'm using my keyboard. And I'm just going to, hit the download here. And it's going to grab the APK file that I have stored. And it's going to ask me, and granted, I already gave the file access to this. And I think I probably downloaded the wrong one now that I look at this. I think you have to get the Xbox app and not the Game Pass beta one, but let's see what happens. So it's going to install. And then we should be almost good to go here. I do have to log in and do all my other stuff. Oh. Game Pass beta cannot be launched because it's installed on a USB drive that is not currently connected to your Fire TV. Really? Hang on a second. This might be an area where we don't want that drive. Because I think I don't think I disconnected it. It's still going. But I think I got the wrong app because I think you have to use the Xbox app now versus the other one. Yeah, the drive is still there. So let's move that app back to the internal storage and see if that works better. So I think it's defaulting to the external. So let's move that to internal and see what happens. Thank you for the super chat, Metal Beer Solid. Much appreciated. Yeah, so TechFlood's doing online classes and everything too, so I'm sure all of that video that you're streaming is, because those classes will take up a lot. And if you could adjust the connection, that would help. I thought Comcast had eliminated the caps for now, but maybe they changed their mind on that. I think it's working now. Oh, we're going to have to go down a whole nother rabbit hole, I think. So we have to get Google Play services on here too. Let's see what happens. See if we can bypass it. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work, but let's give it a shot and see. Yeah, it's actually bringing me to the screen here. So let me see if I can get in. Then I've got to get out of here in about 8 minutes or so. All right, we're making progress. So let's see if it takes it. I got to put in my my two-factor here. And I think I have the wrong app installed, so I may have to go back out and install a different one. The good news is the app is loading. This is the 32-bit app. So this is a 32-bit device. And so you have to make sure you pick that. But I'm getting there, actually. So I'm logged in. And let's see what happens. So some discussion also about 5G. And you know what's funny about 5G is that 5G has a lot of different connotations. So you have like the millimeter wave 5G, you have the 5G that is no faster than 4G. So when your phone says it's 5G, it might not actually be the 5G that is being advertised. And I think if you don't live, we're getting there. Okay, so I've got some options for cloud here. So let's go and let's try to play one of these games. So this is Game Pass. And I've got my controller connected. So I've been playing around with a whole bunch of games, as you can see. But let's try this Hot Shot Racing and see if this runs. Because this is a good game to see how the 60 FPS stuff works. Now I'm getting a ton of warnings about Google Play services and whatnot, but I'm making progress here. And it looks like the Ethernet is going. Yeah, the Ethernet's cranking, so let's see. Let's see if we can get it to work. I got my controller. Now it thinks it's running on a mobile phone. But we did successfully get this to work on the NVIDIA Shield, but that also, of course, is running with Google Play services. So we might hit the wall right here. Oh, wait. Oh, it's going. It's working. We're getting some data issues up there. But let's see. Sometimes it starts off a little flaky and then it kicks on. And this is still in beta too, so that could be driving some of this. But we got farther than I thought we would with that, so that's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know why they still impose those data caps. And what's weird about the data caps is that where I am in the Northeast, they never implemented them, at least in Connecticut. So it looks like it's frozen here, so it just got stuck. See if I can back out. Let's quit the game and try it one more time. I'm wondering if maybe that message being up there was part of the problem. Now my new connection, which I'm paying a fortune for, is cap-free. And what I learned about how it works is that the Gigabit Pro service is like having a super long Ethernet connection to Comcast's hub. So I've got, a fiber connection, there's splice points along the way, but the light that comes out of the little laser in the closet there gets transmitted about 5 or 6 miles to the head end. It just goes right into their services there. So let's let this sit here for a second and see if it picks up. I think we hit the limit. So we did try some. I think we did do some game streaming with Rainway on the first video. So we'll see. Space Dust Winger has a question. Ask away. Happy to help. I'm kind of hacking away with some unsupported functions of the Fire TV here. But you can see like what a science project you can put together here with the Fire TV. And again, we just have it connected. I wonder if I can zoom out here and give you a better view of what we're looking at. Let me see if I can get that to work before I take off. So I think I might need to do a little bit more work on this before we're ready to go. But oh, I got such a mess. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can get it a little bit tighter here. Yeah, it's not going to work. So, oh, wait a minute. Something's happening. There we go. It's coming. Yeah, so the network is a little flaky here. So it doesn't seem to be running like full speed. I wonder, though, if now that I got all this stuff going, if we try to do it over Wi-Fi, if it might work better. Let's see, because it's definitely reporting some lagginess. And I wonder if that could just be a USB bottleneck that we're dealing with now. So you know what we're going to do next is we're going to reboot. And this is actually going to be a good experiment because we're going to see what happens if we reboot without the hard drive installed, what will happen. My recollection is that it will work fine. We just won't have the apps that are on the hard drive. Space Dust Winger is asking, is the Fire TV still worth it? Is the Fire TV still worth it? Yeah, I think so. I think, if you're in the market for the Fire TV, and you don't have, this is where I look at it. If you have a 4K TV, then get the 4K stick. If you have a non-4K TV, get this one because, I'm just going to kill it right here. Get this one because the non-4K version, which is what we're playing with today, is essentially, from a performance standpoint, it's essentially the same. So you have a device that is just as fast, but just doesn't run at 4K. And the Lite edition actually is the one to look at, especially if you're on a budget. So I would look at it that way. All right, so this is booting up. And by the way, Space Dust Winger wants to know how we can donate to the stream. You can go over to my YouTube channel and do a super chat, or if you're on Amazon, any purchase you make while you're watching me is an affiliate purchase, so that helps too. All right, so now we've got it booted up, no drive. So let's see what we can get here. The controller is paired up, so that's working. We're just going to wait for it to boot, and let's see what happens here. Yeah, I think I got the wrong app. Okay, so now let's go over to, but I like the Fire TV a lot because I think it is a nice, I think there's a good value to it in the sense that it's not very expensive, it's well supported, and like let's say you're looking at this or the Chromecast with Google TV, which is also an excellent streaming device. The one thing that the Chromecast lacks is support for Apple TV. And so you can get Apple TV on the Fire Stick. So from a compatibility standpoint, the Fire Stick has all of the major services. Roku has most of them, except Roku doesn't have HBO Max at the moment. I don't know if they worked it out or not. Maybe they did now, but for a little while they didn't have HBO Max. And the other thing with the Fire Stick is that because it's an Android device, you have the ability to install apps on it, which you can't do on Roku. So, there's always like a trade-off between one or the other, But I found, over the years, the Fire TV sticks have delivered a good amount of value. Although I'm a big fan of Android TV natively, and I like what Google has done with the new device. I think that made a big difference. By the way, we're on Wi-Fi now. Much better. Although my controller's not getting recognized here. Let me sign into my account. I'm just trying to sign into my, there it goes. There's definitely some button lag going on here. And again, we're doing something that this is not designed for, so that could be driving this as well. There we go. Yeah, so it looks like there's a lot of, let me back out here for a second. Yeah, the lag is definitely real here. So I just pushed the down arrow here. Yeah, we're going to have to play around with this a little bit more. The good news is it works, so that's helpful. I think there's some button mapping issues here. Yeah, so this is, yeah, there's some button mapping issues going on. The good news is I think that the frame rate is fine, but there is some button mapping going on with this. That's, oop, it just crashed. So we'll play around with that a little bit more. All right, everybody, I've got to run. I know this was not like the most interesting stream, but I did want to just play around with this a little bit and see what we could get out of this. And I now have some ideas for things that I might want to cover in that video when we do it. But what did we learn today? We learned that you can get external storage working on your Fire TV stick. But what you want to make sure that you do for the best performance is to have a discretely powered USB hub that has its own power supply. So if you connect a hard drive, you're not overloading things. And what we discovered was that when we were relying on shared power, the hard drive was accessible, the Fire TV worked, but the Bluetooth didn't work. So that was a problem. So there you go. Duan is watching on Amazon US and wondering how he can buy things in the UK with my link. I'm not sure how that works with the UK. If I am visible on the UK site, then I think you can. But I don't know. I have a UK affiliate account, but I don't think I have links set up with it at the moment. So, but your willingness to support the channel is greatly appreciated. And if you want to subscribe to me here on Amazon and also on YouTube, that'd be great. And we can find ways to connect up a little bit later too. Sheepy asks, does the Fire TV support 24p? Yes. And I have to go back to the review that I did. Let me check my notes on whether or not it's activating that automatically, because I always look for that in the video reviews. And Amazon actually has content that is 24p. Let's see, Fire TV Stick 2020 review. I'm just looking at my notes here, because I do test for that. And let's see, 24p. Did I write down 24p? I didn't write it down. I'll have to go back and check. I'm pretty sure you can put it into 24p mode. I just don't know if it switches. I think actually maybe it does. Let's go into, and then I really got to run because I got to walk the dog and say hello to the family and then get on a bunch of conference calls tonight. All right, so let's go to preferences. I think it's in the display options. Yeah, display and sounds. Display. Yes. So it will match the original frame rate, and if the frame rate is 24p, it does match that. Because I did check that. I'm pretty sure I talked about it. So it will do that. And I've got it set to auto. Now remember, on the Fire TV Stick and TV Stick Lite, you're only going to get 1080p out of these. Even though it performs at the same speed, essentially, as the 4K stick, it doesn't do 4K. So that is where you would go for that. So, boom. Okay. Yes. So the next question here is about the Quest 2. Yes, I do have it. I am going to. So I got so much stuff in front of me that I got to get done. So I wanted to get done tomorrow. I think I need to work on this a little bit more. I was going to shoot this tomorrow, but I think I'm going to put this on hold. I do want to get my review of the new phone, the Pixel 5, done. And I've been playing with it today. This morning I was playing around with it a bit. It's a pretty simple phone. It's not a very complicated device. They actually took features away from last year, so there's less to talk about. So I'm going to probably try to get that done tomorrow. And then Friday, I plan to play around with the Quest 2 a bit. So I'll probably pop on and do a live stream both here and on Amazon so we can see how that works. And we'll go from there. All right. Got a good comment here from Le Homard about downloader. I'm going to have to play with that a little bit more for sure. Jeremy Gold, this is a good question because I just talked about this on my last video about USB 2.0. Will it get officially retired, or are companies going to start using more 3.0 and C? So 2.0 is still part of the USB 4 spec, and it has to be supported. So 2.0 is going to continue for a long time. I think it's not going to be cost effective to buy 2.0 devices, but this will work. This old hub, I suspect, will work for many more years until it dies. So USB 2 is still required part of the spec. Oddly, not all the new stuff is required to be part of the computer that you're buying, though. So if you have a USB 2x2 device, it's not required to be supported under USB 4. The manufacturer can choose to enable 2x2 USB, but not the other way around. Very complicated stuff. In any event. So yeah, and if you want to see more on this, I have reviewed the Fire TV stick and talked about the differences between the stick and the light. You can find that video right here on Amazon or on YouTube if you want to get more information about just what the product's about. And this one was, focused primarily on the core functionality of it, which is basic gaming and streaming video services and that sort of thing. So there you go. All right, everybody, I'm going to go say hello to the family who just got back, and I'm going to go take the dog for a walk, and then I got to get on a conference call. I've got like 3 calls tonight I got to be on, so Board of Ed, all sorts of good fun stuff. So that is where we are at. So I will talk to you all very soon, and have a good evening, and thank you all for tuning in. We'll be streaming again. We might stream tomorrow, but I will definitely be streaming the setup of the Quest 2. Which is in the box right over there. I got it yesterday, so it will be on the horizon. I've been streaming because it's Amazon Prime Day, the Prime 2 Day. So I've been doing a lot of stuff that's relevant to Amazon just because that is the focus on Amazon this week. But tomorrow, or Friday, we'll get back to tinkering with new stuff. So Pixel 5 soon. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get that review shot. I don't know if it'll be up tomorrow, but we'll get it shot. On tonight's video that's going up is on the new SanDisk portable SSDs, and you'll get some more USB frustrations in that one. And then I've got the Slim 7 from Lenovo. That's on the horizon, so that one will be uploaded soon. And that one's been shot, so that one's ready to go. So we've got a lot going on. It's that busy time of year, and I'm trying to get it all in. So stay tuned, a lot more to come. So thank you all for tuning in on Amazon and on YouTube, and I will see you all next time, probably in the next day or two. Have a good one. Glad to see my streams are now fully reliable, which is great. All right, talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.